is I've mentioned this for those of you that were here a little bit earlier, but please make sure you scan the QR code and fill out the form, just so we've got record of your attendance. And so upon completion of the course, you can receive a certificate saying you've attended a course on generative AI. I know I mention this every week, but just a quick reminder once again, it is the same form from last week, I believe. So if you still have it, the same form again, so you can just fill that out. I'll put a reminder at the end just in case anyone else um, comes in. But that's that. And I'll probably get Adam Zayed, who should be in the chat with us, to put a link to the form in the chat as well. Okay, so let's get started with what we're doing today. So as I mentioned, we're looking at AI-powered like browser extension tools. So of course, if you guys use any whatever web browser you use, whether it's Firefox or Chrome, you probably have some sort of web browser extensions enabled, whether that's, Honey, if you've all seen adverts for Honey where, Honey's a browser extension where, it will automatically check coupon codes for you at online checkouts to see if you can get any discounts. Or you may use Grammarly, for example, where Grammarly checks, spell checks your emails as you're sending them. So, or even an ad blocker. So if you're watching YouTube videos, you're using ad blockers to stop watching ads. So yeah, there's lots of different capabilities for web extensions. And what we're looking at today is we're looking at AI tooled web extensions and how we're going to use them. Again, if throughout the session, if you have any questions, feel free to either sort of raise your hand or unmute yourself and just ask, or drop them in the chat. Adam Zayed is in the chat with us, and he'll be answering any questions that you guys will have. Okay, so let's start with talking about why we would use extensions or AI extensions. So we're going to talk about a few extensions that are powered by ChatGPT. So they use ChatGPT and sort of the OpenAI API that we talked about last week to build these sort of extensions. And it's a perfect extension to couple with your sort of workflow and general browsing needs, really. So they're built into your browser and they assist you while you're browsing the web or performing a Google search, for example. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to showcase the first browser extension, which is ChatGPT for Google. So I'll sort of head out of the chat for a little bit. So I'll get Adam Zayed to paste a link in the chat as well. But ChatGPT for Google is just a browser extension that works with either Chrome, Edge, or Firefox. And that allows you to see ChatGPT's search results for your question alongside your Google search or Bing search or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you decide to use. So it allows you to compare ChatGPT's outputs with actual verified sources on Google, let's say. So I think in the last couple of weeks, we've talked about how we should always verify our outputs from our whatever ChatGPT tells us, and just make sure to fact check them because sometimes it does say some wrong information. So this is one way of doing it. So we can use ChatGPT alongside Google and verify the information as such. So if you hover over to this website, whatever browser you have, whether it's Edge, Firefox, Chrome, you can go to, let's say, the Chrome Edge store and just install the extension. And you will add it into Chrome. And then once you've done that, it will prompt you to sign in potentially. But the main capability of this actually is when you sign into Google and make a search. So does anyone want to maybe give me a suggestion for a Google search that we could do? Something that, you would ask ChatGPT to do the same. Anyone want to either unmute themselves or like drop something in the chat? Let's see what we could do with chat, what we could actually share, like, and check with ChatGPT. Okay, I've got a couple suggestions in the chats. So let's say, yeah. So can you create a recipe for a cake? So let's try that. Or like a recipe for a cake. So let's see. And you can see because I've added the extension, if you try this the first time, it will prompt you to either sign in. So make sure you sign in. I've already signed in like preemptively, but you can see because we've got the extension enabled, You can see we've got our Google searches on the side, but alongside this, with the ChatGPT Google extension, we get ChatGPT's response right here. So you can see, certainly, we've got a simple recipe for a cake, and it tells us some recipes and some instructions. And then, of course, we could check this with any recipes in Google as well. This also has the option to sort of use different models. So you can use GPT-4. So if you have a GPT-4 subscription, you can sign in with your account and get GPT-4 benefits. You can do the same thing with Bard as well. So I've also signed in with Bard as well, and it will allow us to get Bard's response as well. So give it some time. Yeah, and so Bard has given me a response, and but Bard's also asked me like what my preferences are. So in this situation, you can also chat with it. So if let's say, does anyone have a particular preference of cake they want? Oh, maybe drop something in the chat. Okay, so Aaron said strawberry, so I'll put in strawberry cake. I like strawberries, let's say. Strawberry. I can't spell today. Yeah, so let's see what Bard tells us now. Oh, so great, since you like strawberry, let's explore some delicious strawberry cake opposite. Do you want a quick and eat? Okay, so it's asked me for even more information. Let's say I'll just type something. Let's say I have fresh strawberries and want something quick and easy. Let's see what it's let's see what it comes up with. So you can see how Bard's wanting us to like put something more to our taste as opposed to with ChatGPT, who just gave us a straight option. Okay, so yeah, so it's given me some quick and easy recipes. So it says, well, one bowl fresh strawberry cake. It's given us some ingredients and put it together. And it's even suggested like a strawberry mug cake, for example. Okay. In fact, what you can do with this extension is it's quite good, is you can actually compare the output side by side. So if we click this button here and click compare answers, you can see that if we want to compare two models, we can compare ChatGPT and Bard side by side. So you can see this is the output that ChatGPT gave, and this is the output that Google Bard gave. And again, obviously, we can compare this alongside our Google searches and see what we want. Okay, so I'll give everyone maybe a couple minutes to maybe have a go and try this out for yourself. You will need to, of course, go to the either Chrome extension page and have a look at adding this to Chrome or whatever browser you're using, whether that's Firefox or Edge, their respective web stores. Add the extension to your browser. You will need to either sign in with ChatGPT or Bard. It will prompt you the first time you make a chat to actually sign in. So there'll be a box here. I signed in like beforehand, so I didn't get any sign-in boxes. But for you guys, there will be a sign-in box. You need to sign in with ChatGPT or Bard. If you have a GPT-4 subscription, you can utilize GPT-4 as well, and it will get your ChatGPT or Bard responses within your Google search or Bing search if you prefer Bing for whatever reason, or DuckDuckGo, whatever that may be. So I'll give everyone maybe a couple minutes and let them have a go at it. And if anyone's got any questions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, so feel free to have a go at it yourself. And maybe if you'd like, you can share some responses and maybe compare how ChatGPT's response differs from, let's say, a Google search. And I'd love to hear what you guys have found in the chat as well. Also, if anyone's sort of confused, maybe they joined a little bit late and want me to just re-explain anything, please let me know as well.
Sorry, I came in a few minutes late. If you could just briefly mention what you've
Yeah,
stated.
no, yeah, no worries. So that's perfectly fine, Griffin.
Apologies.
Yeah, no, as great. It's also a good recap for maybe anyone that has sort of missed out. So just very quickly, I'll just take it from the very start of the lesson. Of course, if you guys have already understand what you're supposed to be doing, feel free to just go ahead. But what we're doing today is we're looking at browser extensions for ChatGPT, like ChatGPT like enabled extensions. So we're using these in the browser. So one thing that we are looking at is ChatGPT for Google, which is just a Chrome extension or an extension for Edge or browser. I'll paste this link in the chat just for anyone that's um, needs it. So Anthony, yeah. So you said you've got a question. If you need to close the browser and reopen to see the extension, sometimes yes, that is true. Yeah, sometimes you might need to just if you install the extension, sometimes you might need to close the browser and restart it. Sometimes that works, but normally it should be okay. Um, yeah, are these links also only for ChatGPT 4? Nope, you can log in with your GPT-3 account and it will still work. It just means when you make a search, you won't have the option to use this. You would need to use just the regular model. So it's perfectly fine to work with GPT-3. Yeah, but as I was saying, when we're using ChatGPT for Google. So if you head to this website that I've just pasted the link to, you can go to either Chrome, Edge, or Firefox. So if you head to the Chrome Web Store, click this button to add an extension. I know for me it says remove from Chrome because I've already added it. But for you, it should say add extension. And then what you can do is you can make a Google search. So just go to Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or whatever search engine you'd like. Type a question in, and then with that question, you should see that of course, you'd get your regular search responses, but at the same time, you should get the extension pop up on the right-hand side, and it will prompt you to log in with either ChatGPT or Bard for the first time. So if you click the box there, it will ask you to log in. And then once you've logged in, you should see that you get a response from ChatGPT alongside your Google search. So you can actually compare the output that ChatGPT gives you with the output from Google and see and actually fact check whether the response ChatGPT is giving you is up to date with what Google was suggesting. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, yeah, any questions? Feel free to let me know. I'll give everyone maybe another 2, 3 minutes just to try and have a go at it. But I can see you've got a response from Angela, who did a DIY tiny house, who searched for a DIY tiny house plan, and it came up with a good output, which is great. Yeah, so I can see Angela's managed to get something to work. Brilliant. Anyone else managed to get anything to work? Have they searched for anything specific? And did it work out well? Did it not work out well? Yeah, so you've got quite a few options. Henry M. So does ChatGPT only search with Bing, or will it do search with DuckDuckGo if I use that extension? I so if I use the extension and use that search engine, yeah. So it will work with Bing or DuckDuckGo. So if I was to go to Bing, let's say, okay, go to Bing, and then I want a so let's say I want a cake recipes, like I did before. It should, yeah, as you can see right here, it does the exact same thing with Bing as well. So you can see the extension is giving us outputs exactly like that as well. Yep, yep, works on Edge. So have you found Bard to be as good alternative to ChatGPT? I've used Bard in the past primarily. Yeah, Bard is quite, in fact, Bard and ChatGPT are also, I mean, I guess they're sort of rivals in a sense. So you may find one is good at one thing, another thing is good at another thing. From my personal experience, if you're doing any sort of, let's say, research based, so if you're trying to look up anything like any particular topic, Bard is normally better because by default, the free version of Bard has access to the internet, whereas the free version of ChatGPT doesn't. So if you're doing any research and you don't want to pay for the ChatGPT, the premium version, go with Bard. But if you can pay for the ChatGPT premium version, I do think that the premium version is better than Bard from my experience. But yeah, yeah. Gail said they came up with a bread recipe, came up very quickly, brilliant. So and Irma says, how do you use ChatGPT to check grammar? So one thing you could do is you could type your sentence or paragraph in and just ask it to spell check for you. I would recommend maybe use something more tailored to grammar checking. Like I would recommend Grammarly personally, which is another AI tool that is specific for checking grammar and spelling. So maybe have a look at Grammarly instead of ChatGPT, which from my experience is a little bit better. Yeah. Long came up with carrot cake recipe. Yeah. So there's yeah, uh got got some other responses. Yeah. So is Merlin the best or is any ChatGPT works best? Yeah, we'll talk about Merlin a little bit later. It's just another tool that is an option. Yeah. Alti said they wrote an introductory paragraph for a novel, which is great. Yeah, Swanson. What asked for work-related vision boards, but it looks what I want is retirement. Okay, great. And yeah, yeah. Is anyone still sort of trying to get it to work? I know Griffin had sent a message earlier said they were trying to get the extension to work still. But anyone else wants maybe another few minutes? Otherwise, I'll move on to sort of the next thing. Yeah, the ChatGPT extension for Google doesn't recognize my existing ChatGPT 4 subscription. Maybe try logging in and logging out again, or maybe go to here and just click login now and try again. Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe never mind. So it says apparently the GPT Plus account for GPT-4 is actually not supported yet. So y- may so you would actually need to use sort of the API key that we sort of used last week instead. So sorry about that. So you would need to use the API key instead. So if we go back to last week and we talked about using the API key, you can actually put your API key in into this search agent, and then it will give you a response that way. Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll move on. Hopefully everyone's got something um, to work, and if they haven't, I'll maybe have some time for questions at the end if there's any issues. But yeah, so we'll move on. So yeah, okay, okay, yeah. So we've had a look at ChatGPT for Google, and we've done some tasks. Okay, there are also some other chat extensions which we're going to sort of go through briefly. There's about, I think, about 8 or 9 in here. So there's quite a lot. I don't have time to go into all of them in as much detail as I did with, let's say, the first one. But there's another option, which is Web Chat GPT. And Web Chat GPT is just a like a way of solving ChatGPT's issue with sort of ChatGPT's knowledge. So obviously ChatGPT, when it was released in 2021, it's a little bit outdated with some of the information it provides. So what ChatGPT is trying to resolve this issue, and this sort of Chrome extension is adding web results to those such prompts as well. Again, I'll try and get Adam Zaid to paste a link to the chat for web ChatGPT as well. Um, Again, these are some tasks. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just leave this up. So if you want to go back in the recording, you can go have a look and pause the video, just have an attempt at these tasks. Same thing as Prometheus. It's another extension, but this time instead of typing out your query, you can use your voice to ask a question to ChatGPT instead. Another extension, instead of just typing things out, you would just ask ask it. Again, some more tasks. So if you want to pause the video in the recording, feel free to go back and have a go at these. Okay. Another thing, tweet GPT. So if you or well, if you're on Twitter or X as it's sort of now called, but I'm still going to call it Twitter no matter what Elon is saying. But if you want, you can actually use ChatGPT inside Twitter and make tweets and generate tweets using ChatGPT's model using the Tweet GPT extension. Again, I'll try and get Adam Zaid to paste a link in the chat for that as well. So you can generate personalized tweets, and if I go back, you can select one of these options right here to maybe like give a theme to your tweet. So if you want it to be, let's say, a sort of humorous tweet, you can select that you want to try and make it humorous, and it will generate a tweet in that sort of style. Again, we'll preface this that make sure that when you generate a tweet with this, that it is like do double check it before you tweet it. I don't want anyone sort of tweeting out something controversial and then just because some AI tool said it. So do double check the tweets before they get sent out. So just use that. But it is quite a useful tool to maybe get some ideas of tweets you could make. So yeah, there's again some more activities you could have a look at. Okay, GPT Writer is also another one. This allows you to write large texts with sort of ChatGPT's capabilities. and you only need an OpenAI login to log in with that. Again, another browser extension that you can add to Chromium, and it also works with emails, which is quite good. Okay, again, some more tasks. I won't spend too long with that. Another one, Wise One. So Wise One is just an AI reading tool. So you can use this in your browser. So if you're looking at lots of different complex passages, and you can just get the, I guess, semantic of the text and just give you just a summary of what it is. So you don't have to read through the whole thing. So also helps to sort of, I guess, simplify complex concepts as well, which is quite useful. Again, some more tasks if you'd like to have a go at them. Okay. Now one thing I actually want to showcase is Merlin, because this is quite useful because it's similar to the GPT extension in Chrome, but it also has access to other AI plugins like Llama, which is by Meta as well. So it allows you to access OpenAI's model, Llama, as well as Bard, and it also allows you to do things like generate images. So Merlin, which I want to highlight as well, is right here. So if yeah, there's a link in the chat as well. So if you want to install it for Google Chrome, there's that link, and it will take you to this page, which you can add to Chrome, just like we did for the ChatGPT for Google. So if you were to just add that, and again, it will prompt you to sign in. But what we can do is if you were to go to um, any sort of browser, whether that's or any sort of website, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Google like it does for the ChatGPT for Google. So let's say if I'm just here, if I type in Control M, oh, Merlin needs a refresh. If I press Control M or Command M on a keyboard, if you're on a Mac, oh, I think refresh the page. Let's try this time. There we go. So if you press Control M or Command M, you can get Merlin's extension in in your browser, and this works for any page at all. So it doesn't need to be limited to Google like it is here. And Merlin has options, so you can select if you want it to browse the web or not to browse the web. So I'm just going to turn it off. You can select whatever model you'd like. So you can use ChatGPT 3.5, the standard one, or GPT-4. You can use Llama, which is, again, like I mentioned, which is Facebook or Meta's open model. I'm just going to stick with GPT-4. And again, you can just pick a query or just make a query, right? So let's say we ask it to ask it to explain photosynthesis in plants, and it gives us an answer right here. So let's say you're browsing the web and you're confused about a certain concept, you can use, let's say, Merlin and open this up and type a question in, and it will help you answer it. You can also, I believe, ask it to generate images as well. So if I click the generate image tab, does anyone maybe want to suggest an image that they want to generate? Just any sort of image. So they've given some examples like a lazy cat on a Sunday afternoon. We're going on a cake theme today, so okay. So we'll do fully baked cake, and let's see what it gives us. It might take some time to generate an image. So yeah, it will give it some time, but still waiting. Yeah, I mean, I'll try some of these other ones. So we've got another option with dark ice skating. I'll try that next. Unfortunately, I won't be. I don't think considering how long this is taking, I don't think I'll be able to do every single one of you guys' queries, but you can try them out yourself. Okay, I like Mitchell's one. Elephant sitting on a hot air balloon above a mountain range. Okay, so we've got a fully baked cake right here. Let's try another one. So Mitchell's one's got an interesting one. Elephant sitting on a hot air balloon above a mountain range. Let's see how good it is. We'll give it some time. Yeah, it's still going. I think there we go. So yeah, I mean, it actually did quite a good job. So you've got an elephant and a mountain range. It's not sitting on top of the hot air balloon. You've got hot air balloons around it, but still, does quite a good job actually. So yeah, so you you can experiment with Merlin AI. There is you have some free credits, but I believe if you run out of free credits, you might need to top up. But you might just be able to make a new account and just re-roll the free credits again. You can also, with regards to images as well, you can select like your sort of resolution of images, well, resolution or aspect ratio rather. So if you want a 4:3 image, you can use a 4:3 or a widescreen 16:9 image. You can choose the amount of images you want. You can choose sort of the style of images. So let's say you wanted more of a, let's say, I don't know, you wanted battle axes. Let's say you could try that. So there's lots of different models you could use and artistic styles that you can select with these sort of images. Okay. Okay, so that's sort of Merlin, which I've sort of highlighted briefly. I'll
Hello.
go through the final few sort of AI tools. So we've talked about Merlin. Yeah,
Oh no,
it's
hold on a second. I have a presentation going on the other side, and I thought I accidentally hung up on you. Hold on.
oh no, 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 all good, no worries. Okay, yeah, so yeah, here's some other tasks with Merlin if you want to try them, like we've sort of mentioned with the other ones. Again, if you want to go back, watch the video, have a go at some of these tasks yourself. And there's another one, which is ChatGPT Prompt Genius. It's an extension that helps you craft prompts for ChatGPT. So you can add also HTML and PNG files and have control of your ChatGPT experience. Again, there's some additional tasks here if you want to have a go at them for specifically to ChatGPT Genius, Prompt Genius. Yep, I don't know if this, yeah. So there's some additional tasks. There's 2 pages of tasks you can have a look at. Um, and there's another one which is Engage AI LinkedIn, which is similar to the Twitter extension. You can, if you want to make comments on LinkedIn on certain posts, has a similar interface. So you can click this button here and select whatever tone of interaction you'd want to give out. So you could be friendly, funny, congratulating. And that will again it will generate a prompt based off the previous post right here. Again, like I mentioned with the Twitter example, especially on LinkedIn, please make sure you don't just blindly use the AI tool and say whatever the AI tool is giving you. Make sure to double check the output, otherwise your employer might not be too happy about that. So make sure to double check those inputs. Yeah, but here's some tasks you can try out in your own time if you'd like to. And there's I think this is the final one actually. So we've got YouTube and article summary. So if you want to sort of browse for YouTube video, especially if you're trying to search for a specific topic, you can use this tool right here, and it will transcribe the whole YouTube video for you, and it will summarize that YouTube video, just getting some of the key concepts. So instead of sitting it through a, let's say, 30-minute video, you can try and use this tool to get the tool to transcribe everything that's been said and then summarize some of the key points as well. So yeah, so you could have a go at this task right here. Oh, and I think there's another one. Yeah, so share GPT. I know I'm sort of speeding through quite a lot of these quite quickly. Uh, but share GPT allows you to sort of share ChatGPT conversations with either your friends or anyone else or family. So it allows you to create a shareable link to any of the conversations that you have with ChatGPT. If instead of trying to screenshot every single conversation with ChatGPT that you might have, you can use this extension and it will just generate a shareable link which you can pass on to your friend or family member, and and it will give you your ChatGPT conversation on their device. Okay, so very quickly because I want to have quite a few minutes at the end just for questions. So just to summarize, we've got a lots of different sort of Chrome extensions tools. So we went into detail about 2 of them. So we talked about Merlin as well as the ChatGPT for Google extension. And these allow you to, first of all, compare outputs between different LLM models or like Bard or ChatGPT, for example, and allow you to use them within your browser. We've briefly highlighted some of the other tools that are available. So if you would like to look at those in your own time, feel free to go back over the video and have a look at them. And again, another thing we'd make sure like to preface is before you use any of these extensions, you should always verify their trustworthiness, take consideration of the outputs. As with any AI tool, it might not generate while it will generate quite a lot of good things, it might generate something controversial or something incorrect. So do always double check with your outputs. And that's sort of the good thing with sort of a lot of these tools because you could use them in conjunction with your browser and verify those outputs within your browser itself. So please, do you want to drive this point home? Just make sure you do check the outputs before going with anything that they say. AI is not always AI is very good, but you need to always just need to double check everything. Okay. So, just a few things just to round off. Again, sort of mentioned this last week as well. We've got the community support page. So if you've got any questions throughout the week, feel free to either drop them on the community support page. We'll be monitoring them and dropping answers to your questions throughout the week. Alternatively, there is the email hello@codingwithcodex as well. So if you've got any questions, feel free to drop us a message there, and we'll be happy to answer them there as well. Again, just another thing, I sort of mentioned this last week as well and the week before, but feedback lab. So feel free to drop us any feedback of maybe how we could improve these sessions or perhaps things you'd like them. Again, we've got the QR codes here, so you can download them on your phone, either on the App Store or Google Play, enter your work email and drop us a review there. So got 10-15 minutes left. I know I've sort of sped through things quite quickly. So has anyone got any questions or discussion points? Yeah, so Griffin, where are the recordings? So hopefully if they are working, I'm not sure if they are on the Next Jump page, but if you can't find them, feel free to drop us an email and Vaz will be monitoring that and he'll probably know better than I will about them specifically. So drop us an email and just have a look at the recordings that way. How does Copilot stack against these extensions? So yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not particularly that too well versed with Copilot, but I've heard it's quite good. So feel free to sort of experiment with it yourself and just see how well it is doing. But I know Copilot's sort of only available on Windows 11 if you're using it on your operating system at the moment, or if you're using it in Edge, it's only available. So I wouldn't say too, I wouldn't be confident in giving an actual answer to that. So yeah, ended. Are there any rules with using results like images profit? It entirely depends on the company's policy that develops the extension. So it's difficult for me to say. Uh, more like I would personally avoid using them for profit unless you remove their company's terms and conditions. So some companies obviously do allow you to use whatever you generate with the AI tools for profit. Some companies are more restrictive, so just I I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't be able to advise it. Just double check with their sort of privacy policy and everything. Okay. Yeah, Abalash joined 5 days late. Is there attendance sheets? Yeah. Yeah, so I think yeah. Adam's eyes just dropped a link in the chats. Yeah, I'll go back to the first page as well. There is the QR code if you do not have it. I need to scroll back quite a while. Yeah, so the QR code, if you didn't manage to sign in at the start, please make sure you do sign in at the end. Yep. Okay. Does this work on the iPhone? I clicked the link, but nothing's changed. Try and make. I think it might be because if you're on Zoom at the same time as you're on your phone, there might be an issue. But so maybe just make a note of the link and then just try again. Okay, has anyone got any further questions about today? Again, you don't have to drop them in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask as well. Happy to take questions that way. So Henry, is there an AI for trustworthy legal content pertaining to starting a business or selling digital products? From what I know, I'm nothing that I know of anyway. Maybe someone else has like knows of one, but from like specific to that, I don't think I do know anything. Again, ChatGPT could be adopted to make that, um, but not too sure about specific to that domain actually, Henry. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah. record this. Recording, yeah, I think Faz has just dropped a message about that. So if you scroll up, Faz has dropped a note about the recording as well. Um, there is an AI companion button on Zoom. What does that do? So the AI companion on Zoom allows you to sort of take summaries of meetings, allows you to transcribe the meetings. Just use that alongside your meeting. So if a meeting's being recorded and you maybe are doing something in the background, you might use the AI companion to just get the general idea of the meeting without maybe paying too much attention. But yeah, so that it's quite actually a useful tool. Feel free to play around with that as well. Yeah, we obviously haven't talked about it in this course, but feel free to sort of maybe even try the AI companion with next week's session and just see how well it does with transcribing this meeting and summarizing it. Okay. Has anyone else got any further questions? Can you drop files into these extensions? Yes, you can with some of them. So with Merlin, I think if I go back, you can upload files this way or upload prompts. So if I start a new chat, actually. So you can chat with your document. If you click this button, you can upload a document right here. And if you can drop files that way. Yeah. What kind of data permissions are associated with the various apps and extensions? So it depends. It depends entirely on the extensions. So I would recommend going to their website. So you can go to Merlin's website, let's say, and have a look at their sort of privacy policy, which hopefully is at the bottom. So you can have a look here, and it will tell you exactly. So privacy policy terms and conditions, and it will tell you exactly what's associated with them. I won't go through every one. It varies from a lot from extension to extension. So yeah, just have a look at their website or go to ChatGPT for Google. Have a look at privacy policy and terms and conditions, and it will tell you specifically what they're using your data for, or if they are using your data as well. Yeah. Yeah. So Harris, yeah, use caution with the AI summary on Zoom. Summarization could be strange when dealing with multiple accents. Yeah, ask you how you know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I haven't tried it myself personally, but uh, yeah, have a go at it. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Henry. Anyone else with further questions? I know we've got another 5 minutes or so.